If you clicked on this video, you're probably in a very weird position, and I can relate because when I was younger, I always knew that I could do the stuff that I had to do, but I just had zero motivation to do it because I was not incentivized to do so. So at high school, for example, I am smart enough to get good grades, but I just didn't want to because I didn't really see any purpose. I'd rather just play FIFA or Fortnite and just enjoy my time. And then the last the last night before the test, I would start learning and studying for that test because that's when I would get incentivized because of the pressure. And then I would get like a 6 out of 10 because in the Netherlands you get graded from 1 to 10. I got like a 6 every single test, and I graduated with like a 5.8, like just enough to get out of high school basically. And you probably feel very similar and nobody understands you. That's why I wanted to make this video. I might be a bit distant here. Can I just, oh, there we go, yes. Nobody understands you because they're like, oh, if you are smart enough to do it, then why don't you just do it? Like human logic. Why don't you just do it? And it's all to do with incentives. So you will often see that the smart kids at university, they get a good job afterwards, but they never become very wealthy. They work very hard on a very high level, but they never become very wealthy. Maybe they land like a 6-figure job at most, maybe mid 6 figures. But the super lazy kids that were always gaming and always just barely got it, those are more the type of stereotype, prototype, I think that's what I wanted to say, to become super wealthy. Why? Because they understood that their time was worth something and they knew how to manage their time properly. So I was always playing FIFA and Fortnite until I had to study. And what's the point of this video? Is that you have to you need to understand why you work this way, because then you can force yourself to use this to become very wealthy. And I'm not saying that I'm super wealthy, but I'm staying in a super cool place here in Medellin, Colombia, a penthouse here. And I worked super hard, so, oh my god, I'm fucking glitching. I worked super hard so I could stay lazy. So I could sit here on the couch at 9 a.m? Almost 10 a.m. Oh my god, what the fuck. And so I don't have to clock in. I'm not from Colombia, so I just travel here and I just, oh, bro, what? Okay, fixed. So I make money online so I could stay in a country where it's warm, where I want to be. And it's, you have to look at it like this. So in a part-time job, for example, my boss would say, why don't you work harder so you could pick more orders? I was an order picker in a warehouse. Why don't you pick more orders and make more money for us? But if I would do that, I wouldn't make more money. So like, you had this leaderboard of like the whole warehouse, and like the first day that you start working there, you get like guidance from the best guy on the leaderboard. So he shows you around, you work with him for a day, so people think, okay, this is the standard and I need to get better than this guy. And it's funny because I think you do that for 1 day or 2 days, I'm not very sure. And like after 2 weeks or 4 weeks of working there, because eventually you start working on your own and start picking orders on your own, I was like the bottom person in the whole leaderboard, and that person was still on top. And he had like double the orders picked per day than I had. And the funny thing is, we got paid the exact same amount at the end of the month. And I knew that. That's why I wasn't trying. Like I was cutting corners, I was like hiding behind boxes to be on my phone to talk to chicks. I was like hiding an AirPod under my headset so I could sneak like music, so I could listen to music whilst it was forbidden, like you couldn't listen to music. Because first I was listening, I had the headset here and I had my AirPod in here, but the boss would come up to me and tell me like, hey, that's not allowed, you are gonna cause incidents or whatever with those other cars that are driving around because you're listening to music. So I would just sneak it into my AirPod. I would turn it around so it fits under the headset, and then I would put the headset over it, and he couldn't see it. I would have to replay like the orders because I couldn't hear it because I was listening to music, but it was all worth it. I would always take like 30 minutes to go to the toilet, even though I didn't even have to go to the toilet. I would just like take 2 30-minute breaks. And the point of the story is that I knew what I was doing. I was on my phone, I was listening to music, podcasts, I was on my phone talking to chicks. I was always like just 1 minute before I had to start, I just started. And the other guy was always early, he was always focused, he was quick, he was efficient, he put his phone like in his locker, all those things. He became very good, he knew how to stack his pallet eventually, efficiently. And the point of the story is that we didn't get paid more for working harder, so I didn't. And the second that I started working for myself, so I started watching Hamza, self-improvement, Andrew Tate kind of stuff, but mainly Hamza, I started making self-improvement videos. I hope you can't hear the guy cutting the grass, but it's also not really my issue, if you can, if you can hear it. I started making self-improvement videos, and from that moment I understood, okay, every single view that I get on this video is going to be for me, and I'm going to benefit from it, and every single dollar that I make from this is going to be for me. And the harder I work, the better I am, the more I get paid. And that's why I'm on 6 figures per year right now, because I grinded so hard, because I knew that it was going to be for me to get better. I go through pain for myself because I get rewarded for it. And this is with a lot of high performers. The second that you get incentivized, another good friend of mine, Steven, one of my best friends, he was so lazy, he was always like the douchebag, he was bitching on everything. And the second that he got incentivized while he's also working for our business, he became super hardworking, super efficient, and he's now leading the whole AI department in our business because he gets incentivized for it. And the more time he saves us, we're the creatives, the more time he saves us, the more he gets paid. So he is like determined to help us save time so he gets paid more. And we are happy that he's doing that because then we have more time to make more money for the business. So incentives is going to decide everything in your life, in your business. And once you understand this, you can abuse it to either build wealth or to become very muscular or very healthy or to travel the world, whatever you want to do. But same thing with health. When I cut out carbs, I started feeling way better. I was quicker, I was more productive, I made more money. So I kept on cutting out carbs out of my mornings and afternoons at that time. I do eat it now because I have to get huge, but when I'm cutting or when I'm not focused on building muscle, then this is the worst video ever, by the way, but I don't really care. Then I don't eat carbs in the morning or in the afternoon. What's the point of this video? If you're lazy but you know that you can become wealthy, this is how you do it. Incentivize yourself. Make sure that the thing that you are doing, the actions that you're taking on a daily basis are benefiting you. You should benefit from it. Otherwise, you as a lazy high performer are not going to do anything. And I know because that's exactly how I work. So that's the video for today. And I hope you learned something. If not, then sorry for wasting 8 minutes and 40 seconds of your time.